I want to suck your blood. Welcome to Wow If True, the podcast of your wildest memes.
We're your one-stop internet culture shop, here to dissect what's going viral, why we care, and how this might affect our real human lives. I'm number one MCR stan, risen from the dead, Isabel.
And I'm Amanda. Anyone can be famous on the internet, so why not us?
I feel like you didn't know what to say to that.
I didn't, because I really feel like I am left out of the discourse this week because I've never read Dracula, and I was never a big My Chemical Romance fan. Like, I don't know why, because I should have been. Like, I was an emo kid who read fan fiction. Like,
yeah, I'm shocked.
What was I doing?
Yeah, like, what were you doing? I don't know. I was, like, very big into MCR, which we are going to talk about later. So I have been thriving. And anyway, so I guess that brings us to this episode's thesis statement, taken from Tumblr user Envy Launchpad, in which I'm going to describe a Venn diagram, because that is, that's good podcasting, right?
Yes.
Yes. So what do you think 2008 and 2022 have in common?
I mean, the Venn diagram's right in front of me.
Yeah, it is right in front of you. Come on.
What they have in common.
Say from the bit. Batman movie, My Chemical Romance, Robert Pattinson movie, vampires in pop culture, and the economy is bad. We are going to talk about most of these things except for Batman movie, Robert Pattinson movie, which I think is an improvement on 2008 because we've combined these things now.
Yeah, well, I actually, fun fact, I am supposed to watch the Batman movie after we record this podcast.
Oh, I love that for you. It's really good. It's also like, I think you should watch it, and my hot take about this Batman is that this is a Batman who listens to My Chemical Romance, and I feel like you're going to agree with me when you come out of the movie theater.
Well, I'm not going to the movie theater, I'm going to my friend's house, but yeah, I also don't think I have the attention span for a 3-hour movie, so I was like, hey, is it okay if I bring my laptop? And they were like, you suck, but you're also valid.
See, that's interesting, because I always bring my laptop to movies unless they're in the theater, so if I want to force myself to pay attention to a movie, I have to go see it in a theater, which has made it so that I have not watched that many movies in the last couple of years.
God, we're both horrible.
We're great. We have a podcast. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Dracula. So, the internet's hottest new boy is Dracula. Just straight up Dracula.
Just Dracula.
You know,
just,
from the Bram Stoker book. Yeah, like, you know, we're talking classic Dracula. We're not talking any of the updated versions of Dracula. It's just Dracula.
Yeah, also, did you know that Bram Stoker's first name was Abraham?
I had no idea. That makes so much more sense.
Yeah, I only knew this because this discourse came up in another forum because literally everybody is talking about Dracula. Apparently he wrote a love letter to Walt Whitman.
Yeah.
In the article about that, it said that his name was Abraham, and I was like, the more you know. Actually, I was like, is he Jewish? And then I was like, the more you know.
The more you know.
Wait, was he Jewish?
Are you looking up if Bram Stoker was Jewish?
Oh no, he was raised Protestant in the Church of Ireland.
We're learning all sorts of facts about Bram Stoker today. I did actually zero Bram Stoker research for this, so this is great. All I did is look up things about Dracula the vampire. So the reason I've been talking about Dracula for like 5 minutes now is because everybody I know is reading Dracula daily. Everyone I know except for Amanda.
I did subscribe to it yesterday because I was like, all right, I gotta get in on this.
I love this. You're getting bullied by me and the internet into reading Dracula, one of the pieces of classic literature that they make you read sometimes in school. Do they ever make people read Dracula?
No, I had to read Frankenstein. I thought Frankenstein kind of slapped.
I read Frankenstein in my 10th grade English class, but it wasn't a class I paid no attention to and read Homestuck during class, which led to one of my friends reading Homestuck, which led to just a lot of other events in my life. Anyway, let me tell you about Dracula Daily. It is a Substack newsletter, which it's like, okay, that's the best way to consume Dracula, I guess, but it is, where you read Dracula in chronological order based on the diary entries in Bram Stoker's Dracula. So yes, it is literally just Dracula, but they send you what's happening on what day. So, and this is because Dracula is, like they say in the Substack, it's an epistolary novel, so it's made up of letters, diaries, telegrams, newspaper clippings, and so all of it's dated. And the whole story happens between May 3rd and November 10th. So what you're getting with the Substack newsletter is you're just getting the diary entries and letters delivered on the days that they're dated in the book. The interesting thing here is that the chronological order in which Dracula Daily is being delivered is actually not the order that the book goes consistently. So this is not actually the way that Abraham Stoker That sounds so much more serious than Bram Stoker. It sounds like less goth, too. I don't like it. Ever thought that Dracula would be read. So I think this is kind of a cool idea, though, because it's like a new way of approaching a text. And the last count of people I saw doing this was 25K, which is actually out of date now. But that's a lot of people to be simultaneously reading Dracula. That's like a really big book club.
Yeah, this is like an internet book club, and I just think that's just great, you know?
It's like really wholesome.
It's wholesome, except it's about Dracula.
Okay, but like it's fine because like the vibe of it is that everybody is getting their little letters from their favorite new friend, Jonathan Harker, and they're hearing all about his big trip to Transylvania, and oh no, it doesn't look like it's going well for him.
Oh no.
Like it really does feel like the whole town is like so proud of their boy who has gone to the big city, but the big city is Transylvania and Count Dracula's castle, and he's having a horrible time. And we're all kind of like, this doesn't seem like it's working out well for Jonathan.
So, you know how, like, being allergic to garlic is, like, a semi-common allergy?
Is it?
I mean, I know, like, 2 people that are allergic to garlic.
That's, like, okay, I don't know any people who are allergic to garlic, so I've learned something new today.
The reason I bring this up is because I want to know, do you think that those 2 friends of mine are vampires?
Have you ever seen them out in sunlight?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a maybe, because, you know, as we know from Twilight, vampires can go out in the sun. However, they will sparkle. Have they ever talked about wanting to drink your blood?
I'm gonna go no on this one.
I think you're safe. I think this is a regular human allergy, but I think you should, you know, just be alert.
All right, I think, you know, yeah, we should always be alert. So, I mean, can you tell me a bit about Dracula? Because I just have not read Dracula, and I haven't started Dracula Daily yet. Like, what do the people need to know?
I think the best way to go, so to read Dracula or to read Dracula Daily, because I think Dracula Daily is best gone into without knowledge of Dracula, because it's funnier that way.
Okay. Would you consider Dracula either Dracula in its daily format or Dracula as in, like, if you are reading it in English class? Is Dracula funny? Is it supposed to be funny?
So, I don't think it's supposed to be funny, but I think it's supposed to be popular literature, not like classic literature with a capital C. However, I think it becomes funny if you're reading it as a modern audience because Dracula has the same problem that like trope originators always have, which is when you've consumed a lot of secondary media based on the trope. When you go back to the original source material, you're like, this is kind of derivative, and also it's very obvious.
But is it not derivative because, like, he made the tropes?
Yeah, because it's like, so, like, you know, like, the saying, I do not drink wine, like, you know, and, like,
yeah.
you're giving me a questioning look, but I swear this is, like, a meme, anyway, where it's, like, a lot of, like, vampire memes are referenced here completely seriously because they're the first time it gets brought up. It's the same problem that like Frankenstein derivatives have, right?
Yeah. Like
Frankenstein has to the Frankenstein derivatives, where if you come up with a monster and you come up with what the monster does and everyone else does like little twists on it, the original thing seems very obvious and extremely funny because you're reading a lot of this book from Jonathan Harker, who has gone to Dracula's castle and has no idea what's going on. And so Jonathan. He's just kind of like, this is fine, this is great, this is fine. Some weird shit's up. I don't know what. He just became a lawyer, and I actually posit that all of his behavior is totally reasonable for a newly minted lawyer. Because if I was told to do all these actions, I'd be like, this is fine, this is just what being a lawyer is like, this is fine.
Sounds like we gotta send you to Transylvania then.
You know, I would be totally okay to go to Transylvania and go to a castle. I would wear my skimpiest nightgown and I would get caught in the rain. It would be great. You know, come get your juice.
Oh my god. No, I mean, I think, yeah, it's really funny to think about when you look back at the originator of the trope after having experienced the trope in so many other ways. Like, if you read Jane Eyre and you're like, damn, they really put a mad woman in the attic. That's pretty derivative, but it's like, no, that is the mad woman in the attic.
Yeah, she's the mad woman in the attic.
Yeah, justice for Bertha. Justice for Bertha.
Free Bertha, hashtag 2022.
Yeah.
Here's my confession, is that I've not been actually keeping up with Dracula Daily because I like the idea of it more than I like the actually reading Dracula every day. Or not every day, whenever it's happening.
As someone who has not read a single word of Dracula, I'm pretty excited to go back and just read Dracula now, and then I just think it's gonna just be like a fun little internet thing to be like, oof, damn, guys, like, I don't know, Jonathan Harker's making some decisions.
Yeah, no, like, that's the fun part of it, and I think it's, like, it really mimics the experience, like, the two experiences I think it mimics is, one, being in a book club and getting to talk about it with your friends, which I kind of wish I was in a book club. We should start a book club. And two, like, when TV shows are releasing every week and everyone's watching the episode and then talking about it, which I think with, like, the advent of streaming services, we've kind of lost some of that, although arguably people have been doing that with Severance.
Yeah, I do need to see Severance.
I think you would like Severance. I've watched 9/10 of Severance, where I have about like half an episode left, and I have some opinions about it, but we will not get into that here. This is not a day for Severance. This is a day for Dracula.
This is the emo kid spectacular.
Exactly. We got to stop calling things spectacular. But also,
I just think that we run a spectacular podcast, and every episode is spectacular. Well, one more thing I wanted to talk about with Dracula Daily was, like, obviously this is only legal because Dracula's in the public domain, but I do appreciate that it doesn't seem like this guy is profiting off of it, even though you could totally profit off of this.
You know, he's just having a fun time on the internet, and I appreciate that he's just having a fun time on the internet. However, that actually brings me into one of the other points I wanted to talk about, with not Dracula specifically, but specifically with Dracula Daily. So the project is actually in its second year, and it's run by Matt Kirkland. And I actually looked him up because I do that to people because I'm normal, and I don't even have the excuse of being a journalist, but that's fine. So, and it turns out that he runs a lot of, like, little silly but very, like, viable projects. Like, he actually reminds me of Daniel Baskin in that way, where it's, like, things that are kind of a business but are kind of a bit.
Yes, Daniel Baskin, previous Wow of True guest, who also is in a documentary about Elizabeth Holmes now, which is very funny.
I love the arcs that the people that we have on the show go on, because they're always so wild.
I mean, Daniel Baskin's just always doing some crazy shit, and I love that about her, and I love that about Matt Kirkland.
Yeah. Honestly, I want to be Daniel Baskin when I grow up. And
she has blue hair now. It's pretty great.
Oh, that's so good. I haven't looked at her.
Does Matt Kirkland have blue hair? I don't know. I don't know anything about them.
He doesn't, I don't think, but I don't know. I didn't look that far into him, but, like, the project I looked into, I should stalk him harder. That's definitely what I should do. Is quote unquote dumb cuneiform. And I think that's my favorite of his side projects, because it is essentially that this is a service that will take your tweet. They will write your tweet in cuneiform on a clay tablet in Old Persian from 500 BC and basically preserve your tweet as a cuneiform tablet and send it to you. Obviously, you need to pay for it because clay costs money, shipping costs money. But I just think that's a really, like, funny, clever thing to do. And I like that you can get your tweets preserved as a clay tablet.
Can I parlay this into telling you about my maybe worst tweet of the last a long time? I had a crisis over this tweet.
I love to hear about your tweet crises. Please tell me.
Okay, so last night I went to dinner with my friend who is also allergic to garlic. Not relevant to the story, but, you know.
But, you know, continuity, yeah.
Yeah, continuity. So we were sitting next to these two people that I've never seen before in my life, but it was kind of clear that they were on, like, a first or a second date. And this guy was the fucking worst guy ever. I mean, not actually, but, like, he was really annoying. Like, he was giving her shit about, like, how much she was eating. He gave her shit for having prescription sunglasses, which is a really weird hill to die on. But then he also said he owns 3 bikes. And it was just, like, we were just eating our food, like, texting each other. Like, did that guy really just say that? But anyway, so the most egregious part of the date was a particular tangent he went on, which prompted me to tweet, "Overheard a first date in which this guy went on a long lecture about how dry cleaning chemicals can contaminate the groundwater under laundromats, and so if you're ever buying a property that used to be a laundromat, you gotta get that inspected."
Okay. So this all seems very straightforward so far.
Yes, but then I got a text from a friend of mine who apparently she screenshotted my text and sent it to the girl on the date because apparently this was somebody who we went to college with that I don't know, but she knows me. And then my friend, like, made the connection that I was the one who overheard the date, and that this person was the person on the date.
Did anything happen from this? Did the girl follow up with you? That's really funny.
No, because, I mean, the way that my friend presented it to me, it seemed like the girl was kind of offended that I tweeted this.
I don't understand why the girl would be offended by that, because I feel like if you exist in public and someone is explaining something to you, you kind of do... People might observe you. I don't know what to say here. Like, I feel like, okay, I think you're valid.
I just
think it's
can't
fine.
believe that I tweeted something about a stranger and it managed to get back to the stranger. So now basically I need to, like, change my name, move, and start a new life.
I mean, yeah, of course. But also I feel like this is just one of the hazards of living in Philadelphia. Did I ever tell you about how I accidentally followed my, one of my art thesis advisors around a Trader Joe's for like a solid 10 minutes?
Well, was it Kayla or Avancho?
It was Avancho because, because it was like, okay, so because I went to Trader Joe's because it's what you simply do. I needed groceries. It was regular. It was a regular reason. And apparently he also needed groceries. And I just didn't know whether to approach him or not, and he didn't see me, but he was like a little bit far enough ahead of me in the Trader Joe's space where I would have had to kind of like hurry up to go say hi to him. And I didn't know if that's where our relationship was at that point. I would have done it to Kayla at that point. I would not have done it to Ivancho at that point because I was not that close with him. And yeah. I feel like he would have been fine with it, but I'm just like incredibly awkward. And then the thing is, like, I still need to get my groceries like picked up, and it was raining outside, so I was stuck in this Trader Joe's with Avancho who hasn't seen me. I'm also texting the entire fine arts group being like, guys, I'm accidentally following Avancho around this Trader Joe's. And they were all like,
buying anything weird?
See, that's what they all asked me. They were like, you need to see what's in his basket.
And then it's just like,
it was regular. Like, I think he had tortillas. I don't know. He had some other stuff. That's just what I remember.
How dare this man eat tortillas? Yeah, no, it is. I did have the weird sensation of, I do Pilates now because I'm a bitch. And the Pilates classes, we wear masks during them. And then also with friend allergic to garlic, we did Pilates together, and then we immediately got popsicles because that's what you do, and we were sitting outside eating our popsicles, and then the Pilates teacher walked by, but none of us were wearing masks because we were all outside, and then we were just like, we finally have seen each other's faces. This is amazing.
Yeah, that does have similar energy.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like that was a very surprising thing for me as somebody who was not in school during the pandemic, but like, damn, that is really like, I've heard from a friend who's a teacher that that's a thing where it's like, face reveal.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know. I feel like I have nothing interesting to say about that because I did most of my pandemic school on Zoom, so it was faces, but also I simply had my camera off for most of it. Also, by the way, I did eventually say hi to Ivancho. Like, okay, I didn't just follow him around. I did not just follow him around for 10 minutes and then leave. He did notice me. We waved at each other. It was totally fine.
All right. Okay, cool.
I hope he doesn't listen to this.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like when you're in like high school, middle school, seeing your teachers in public is like a horrifying experience. And then when you're in college, it's like, hey.
Yeah, exactly. One of my friends is a teacher now, and he's like, I don't know, he ran into one of his students in a coffee shop, and I was like, wow, we're old enough to be on the other side of this.
Yeah, no, I think, like, when I've been briefly in, like, positions of being in charge of students, but not necessarily a teacher, but I've, like, TA'd and had to coordinate student clubs. So, I'm an educator, but it is fucking insane how students will be like, sorry, I can't come today. I have diarrhea and I've been, like, throwing up for the past day. And I'm like, bro, just tell me you're sick. It's fine.
You know, I think the thing is that this is the same issue as with, like, going on dates with men and how, like, you're always a little bit worried that one of them is going to kill you. Because of the very small percentage of people who are men who want to kill you, they are out there, and it's not most of them, but, like, you know, they're out there. Where it's like, I think if somebody has a bad experience with a teacher who like doesn't let them do stuff, then they're always going to be hedging from then on. Yeah.
I mean, is this when I mentioned that I went on a date and mentioned Homestuck on the date?
I mean, now it is because you've done that. And that's, I don't know. You can't do that, dude. I mean, this is me talking to your date. You can't mention Homestuck on the first date. Like, what are you trying to do?
I can't remember who. I think we were just talking about weird stuff on the internet. And I was like, okay, but do you know about the Pope and Megalovania?
Why would you? Okay, Look, not to dunk on you specifically, but why would you bring up the Pope and Megalovania on the first date? What are you doing? Look at your life. Look at your choices.
I mean, honestly, but to bring things back, observing this date where this guy was like, let me tell you about how dry cleaning chemicals contaminate groundwater. I was like, I'm so valid. Like, the Pope and Megalovania is funny as fuck, and dry cleaning chemicals contaminating groundwater is not.
I don't know how to segue this back to Dracula. What if we brought joy to emails? Also, I have the hot take that a Dracula is a specific subspecies of vampire, in that Edward Cullen is not a Dracula, but the Count from Sesame Street is. I will not be explaining further.
Alright, I see that. I think it's just all about if you have a popped collar or not.
It's the popped collar, and it's the widow's peak, and it's the I want to suck your blood of it all. And that is all I will say on the matter. I only bring this up because I was talking about this with Allison, and I said I would explain it on the podcast, and then I did not explain it on the podcast, so I'm sorry, Allison. You can keep this in.
So since apparently we're a crypto podcast, which is very funny to me.
Wait, can I talk about pause on the crypto podcast? Because I wanted to bring this up. Because I keep getting emails from people who want me to work on their science fiction crypto projects. And I don't know whether they're just targeting random authors or if I'm getting targeted because I have a podcast where we talk about crypto and am a science fiction author.
I think it's probably that they're emailing every single person that's ever written science fiction, because that's kind of the grift of the crypto people, is that they just sort of like, it's like the WhatsApp spam where you get added to a billion WhatsApp groups that are like, hello dear, I would love for you to join my Bitcoin discussion group.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, like, some of them have been personalized, which makes me think that they can't be doing it too. I don't know, maybe I'll get into crypto.
Oh god, well, anyway, I would say right now is not a good time to get into crypto, but is any time a good time to get into crypto? Because let's talk about the vampiric way in which crypto is sucking the finances out of humans.
I enjoyed that metaphor that you made. The simile?
Yeah.
The metaphor. I don't know.
I will begin by saying that the decline of crypto began on my birthday, which, happy birthday to me. So, the long and short of it is that there is this cryptocurrency, Terra, that is backed up by a stablecoin, Luna, and I will explain what that is in a bit, but basically, this thing was supposed to be valued at, like, $1. Like, it was supposed to be consistently, like, $1 is one Terra coin, and it now is like the value has gone down from $1 to fractions of cents. So basically
complete loss in value.
Yeah, basically this is not worth shit anymore. So what is a stable coin? Terra UST, like it's like USD, but like UST, is a stable coin that is like crypto, but it is backed up. Like, it's crypto that is kind of based on the idea of real money, where there are actual assets to back up the money. Like how in the olden days, gold used to be backing up the US dollar, but now it's like much more complicated than that. But it was not an actual asset backing up the stable coin, though. It was like algorithms, which is not a stable asset. So basically, what happened was, as John Green would say, the value of the coin dropped slowly and then all at once, where at first it went down to maybe like, I think it was like 69 cents. Haha, 69.
Nice.
Nice, because really big investors took out like huge amounts of like billions of dollars worth, and then that caused the value to decline. Right. And then people freaked out, and then the value like declined.
So what I'm hearing is that there was like a death spiral of losing faith in the coin. Like, this sounds like, the analogy I'm thinking about is like when there's a run on the banks, like similar situation where everyone freaks out and then it's like, oh, we gotta drop this shit. Or like when people sell stocks because it's like, oh, we gotta drop this shit.
Yeah, basically, like, as a result of this pretty popular cryptocurrency, but not one of, like, the big boys, completely depreciating in value, that kind of had a chain reaction, haha, blockchain pun, to cause other cryptocurrencies to fall. So now, like, Bitcoin fell below $30,000 for the first time in, like, I think since, like, 2020. Also, speaking of which, one time, a friend of mine, freshman year of college, used Bitcoin to buy fake IDs, and I just kind of remembered that this happened, and then I, like, randomly messaged him, and I was like, hey, out of the blue, but, like, whatever happened to that Bitcoin you had? And he was like, I lost my crypto login or whatever, and I was like, damn, pour one out.
Yeah, I bought a binder once with Ethereum.
Incredible.
I just think that's funny.
Yeah, that's a good move. But yeah, so the other fun thing is that the guy who is the CEO of Terraform Labs, who created Tarot, Do Kwon was a pseudonymous co-founder behind the failed algorithmic stablecoin Basis Cash, which this was not known until CoinDesk reported this last week after Terra had fallen. So the guy who is the CEO of the disgraced stablecoin, the same thing happened to him with another stablecoin.
Wait, so he fucked up before with the stablecoin and was like, you know what? We should try this again.
Yeah, but he was under a pseudonym, so people didn't know that it was the same guy. Yeah, this kind of raises the question of, like, pseudonyms on the internet, because I think as, like, internet culture people, we would be pretty pro-pseudonym, because it's kind of fun to just be some guy fucking around on the internet writing your Homestuck fanfic or whatever. But when it comes to being somebody that is running a company that is taking people's money and promising them returns, I think it's kind of fucked up that pseudonyms are so common in crypto, and there have been other situations of people using pseudonyms to cover up having, like, a history of abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I don't know, just pseudonyms. What do you think about them?
I mean, so you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of when companies set up, like, shell companies to do, like, investments and stuff like that, or to, like, buy another company or something like that. So, like, it almost feels...
Is that like a SPAC? Can you explain to me SPACs?
I'm not going to explain SPACs to you on our podcast where where we're talking about Dracula and crypto.
Oh god, we have a horrible podcast.
Our podcast is really good. There's no market for this podcast. It's like...
Like, the market is us and we're making it. Yeah, but there is a way in which a company can go public where they invent a fake company and then merge with the fake company, and that's called a SPAC, and Grindr just did a SPAC, and I think that's fucking hilarious. Like, money doesn't make sense.
Here's the thing about, like, the way companies work is that you can just create a new company at, like, any point in time, and it doesn't have to have stuff. It doesn't have to have, like, things. It can just be a holding company for some amount of dollars to make something happen. This is like the 5 million bird's eye view, 5 million mile bird's eye view. The bird is in space. It's wearing a little spacesuit. It's great. Where it's like, it doesn't surprise me that this happens in crypto with pseudonyms, because people have been doing this in the regulated space for a very long time. In the sense that, like, it's like, okay, we can create a new thing that is legally a separate thing to do stuff with.
Yeah, okay. I mean, not to be, like, slightly forgiving of crypto, but I feel like people give crypto a lot of shit for being, like, fake businesses trading fake money. But isn't that just the normal world,
that's just business.
Too? Like, everything is fake!
We have hit the point of human history where everything is so many levels of abstraction away from, like, a real object that it's like, buddy, we are all playing this gigantic game that makes no goddamn sense, and we should probably fix it. Anyway, I can't believe there's crypto apologism on our podcast today. How dare you, Amanda?
I know. Well, do you think that Dracula would be into crypto?
See, I was gonna ask you the same question. I've been waiting to drop that, and you dropped on me. Anyway, yes, I think Dracula would be into crypto, because he is a blood-sucking leech.
Hey.
Next question. How about you? Do you think Dracula would be into crypto?
I mean, I don't know anything about Dracula, except that he has a castle, and he goes, I want to suck your blood.
Okay, here's some other facts about Dracula. He can scuttle on the walls like a lizard.
Oh, that's fucking metal.
And he does not have any servants, so he's doing the whole every single, like, thing that happens to Jonathan in there, like, oh, he gets dinner or something. Dracula had to do that. So he must be very fast.
Damn. Can I bring this back to another recurring theme in our podcast, which is that in the year 2022, I am finally keeping up with the Kardashians.
Oh my god. Okay, how does this relate to the Kardashians? I actually do want to know.
The Kardashians are vampires. No, I wouldn't be surprised if they were, honestly. Like, they could be, like, a very Cullen vibe. Like, I think there's a lot of parallels between the Cullens and the Kardashians, but, anyway, so in the newest episode of the Hulu spinoff, The Kardashians, they took away the keeping up with. There is a scene in which Kendall Jenner decides that she wants some sliced cucumber, and she takes a cucumber and she tries to start cutting it, and she just can't do it, and then Kris Jenner is like, hey, I can have the chef cut that up for you. And she's like, no, it's fine. But like, and then she says to the cameras, like, just don't like zoom in on me because I'm not like very good in the kitchen. But she just is like, instead of holding the cucumber and then slicing it, she's just kind of like holding the edge of where she is cutting and then cutting off that part and then taking it off of the knife and then putting it like into a bowl.
This sounds excruciating to watch.
It was excruciating to watch, but basically what I'm saying is that I think that Kendall Jenner should hire Dracula to teach her how to cook, because clearly Dracula is a speed demon and Kendall Jenner, like, how do you eat? Like, I get that these people have private chefs, but like, how do you just get a snack? Like, what do you eat as a snack if you can't cut a cucumber?
We all know that they have pantries that have a bunch of, like, clear, glass things that all of their, like, Chips Ahoy cookies have been emptied into very neatly.
But it's like, I know you can buy stuff, like, you can buy cut-up apples, but I feel like you can't really buy cut-up cucumbers. So do they just not eat cucumbers except for when it's cut for them?
I have a new startup idea for you, Amanda.
Cut-up cucumbers.
Yes, exactly.
This actually does relate to something that, this is the B side of the episode. This was originally in the script, but I cut it. But I did come across a startup called Square Eat. It's like the E is both part of Square and Eat, where they are simply putting food into cubes. And then they want people to eat the food cubes. I have nothing more to say about this, but they raised like $200,000 in a crowdfunding campaign, and they simply want you to eat food cubes.
Wait, yeah, okay, so I'm so glad that you brought this back, because I was kind of sad that you dropped it from the script, because I did go and look at their website, and it really is just food that they have processed into squares.
My hot take here is that I think that their business idea hinges on people not knowing what trail mix is. They were like, what do you do if you're on a plane or you're like out and about and you want a snack, but like you can't get a snack. You're not near a place to buy food. And I'm like, bro, like granola bars? Trail mix?
I feel like this is marketing toward like people who count their macros, but like the people who really count their macros. And also, okay, my other hot take about this is because I looked at this after you posted it, is that I think all of their descriptions of their food were like algorithmically generated.
Oh no.
No, I'm just saying that because they use the same words in different combinations and none of them sound good. Like it all sounds like food that was described by a, like they had like a robot describe it.
And they do have like a dramatic video where this woman's like, imagine a world where you're on a plane and you need a snack. What do you do? And it's like, I don't know, I probably have a granola bar in my bag because I'm traveling.
Yeah, okay, so like, for example, asparagus square, exquisite and delicate patty, chicken square, super tender and tasty, choco pancake square, a delicious pancake with a hint of cocoa, beef square, soft and tender burger, basmati rice square, seasoned soft patty. Do you see what I mean about the same words being repeated in different combinations so far? And none of them really meaning anything?
I get very fucked up about, like, shelf-stable meats.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what I also liked about Square Eat is that they give you different ways to cook it. Like, you could eat it raw, you can, like, take it out of the fridge, you can cook it in the oven, you can pan fry it to make it more crispy. But, like, they really just want you to eat squares. And I'm just like, why does everybody want to suck the joy out of life like Dracula, a vampire, sucking your blood? Yeah, just to keep giving people the greatest hits of our script and the things that we drop before we decide that we're just going to do, like, a vampire emo episode. Another bullet point we have says, fursuit Starbucks union organizer. Nothing to talk about here other than it's exactly what it sounds like. So, yeah, apparently there's a Starbucks union organizer who's a furry, and I think that's great for them. I think furries need unions too. Good for them.
Yeah, wait, contextually what this is this guy got fired. Not for being a furry, for being a union organizer, probably. I did not go that deep into looking into this, but basically there's just a photo of him after he got fired in his fursuit doing union organizing stuff and talking about how he felt really confident doing that. And honestly, I supported him. It was just an extremely funny phrase to put in the script.
I don't know what's worse, being fired for being a union organizer, which is illegal, or being fired for being a furry, which is also probably illegal, because that's probably a form of, like, sexual discrimination.
I don't think being a furry is sexual, though. Like, it's just like a...
Is it? I mean...
It doesn't have to be, is what I'm saying. Like, okay. Anything can be sexual. I think a lot of people who are furries just like dressing up as animals, which they're valid. Apparently fursuits cost like fucking money too.
I mean, I'm sure they do. They seem very like like, I mean, it's like a head to toe suit of an animal. Like that's serious craftsmanship.
And it has to be like custom designed because everyone's got their like fursona. Hey Amanda, what would your fursona be?
Oh god, I don't know. Maybe like kind of like an Eevee vibe, maybe.
Okay, I could see that for you. And I would just like to say, only on WoW True can you hear the hosts talk about Dracula, Crypto being in a death spiral, what furry they would be, all in the span of like, I don't know, 25 minutes. Anyway, MCR is back. Anyway, my fursona would probably be some sort of cat, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, I mean, Warrior Cats is your origin story of the internet, so that makes sense. But My Chemical Romance is back.
My Chemical Romance is back. And here we are going to experience the very rare phenomenon of Isabel is excited for a band and Amanda is not, because it's usually the opposite, where Amanda is excited for a band and Isabel is not.
Yeah, I feel aggressively neutral about My Chemical Romance, and I feel like, I don't know why. Like, I don't know why I never got into them.
Long story short, My Chemical Romance, after breaking up in 2013, I cannot stress enough, they broke up in 2013, just casually dropped a single on May 12th. Where they were like, this is a random Thursday. I cannot stress enough. There was no warning. They were like, hello, we're back. And the internet was like, Gerard, you're here again? Anyway, great day for New Jerseyans everywhere. And emos. And by this, I mean me specifically. Because if there's one thing you need to know about me is that I was obsessed with My Chemical Romance for like a solid like 3 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, what if we brought joy to Isabel?
It did feel pretty lonely on the internet to be like, wow, everyone's freaking out about this. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's a good song. Like, I liked it. I listened to it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, no, like, okay, my hot take is the song is I like the song a lot. It's called Foundations of Decay. It's really good. You should go listen to it. I like it because it sounds like a grown-up version of their earlier stuff, which is kind of cool. And it still sounds like My Chemical Romance, which is like, damn, y'all have been gone for 9 years. Damn. What the fuck, dudes?
How do you think Dracula would feel about this?
I think Dracula would approve. I don't think Dracula would understand My Chemical Romance due to being a vampire and having old-fashioned taste in music. However, I do think that Edward Cullen would also actually not understand. I've changed my mind. Edward Cullen would not understand My Chemical Romance because he also is an old man in a young man's body, just like emotionally, spiritually.
I think Alice and Jasper would be hype about it.
That's what I was saying. I think Alice would like it. And I think Alice would get Jasper into it. I don't think Rosalie would like it. I think Emmett could like it.
I think Bella just doesn't have a personality, so she would just kind of go along with whatever was expected of her.
I would make Bella like it in my fanfiction.
Okay, you gotta write this fanfiction then. How do you think that the author of My Immortal feels right now?
I hope good. I hope they're having a good time.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to note, sorry Amanda, I just have to talk about this. And I just felt like the podcast listeners should know because, sorry, podcast listeners, I have to talk about this. But the exciting thing here is that there's some speculation that they're going to drop a new album because of that. People were hoping for a Friday the 13th album drop, which did not happen. And the other thing here that's cool is that they're also like on tour. So it is possible to go see My Chemical Romance perform their new song live in 2022. That was too many 20s. But I don't know. This is just very exciting to me because when I was like 15, I was like, wow, I'm never going to get to go see them. And now I'm like, wow, maybe my dreams do come true.
Incredible. Another, speaking of speculated May 13th drops, because it was Friday the 13th yesterday. Mm-hmm. So literally, like, I don't know why TikTok thinks I like Taylor Swift. TikTok thinks I like Taylor Swift. I think she's fine. Like, she's fine.
Wow, tell us how you really feel.
I feel aggressively neutral. I mean, I like My Chemical Romance more than Taylor Swift. My Chemical Romance, I feel neutral to positive about. Taylor Swift, I feel neutral about. But there was all this speculation about how she was going to drop the Taylor's version of 1989 on May 13th, Friday the 13th, because she really likes the number 13, and especially Friday the 13th. I don't know, but I saw like 3 TikToks about this, and they honestly convinced me. I was like, damn, these people are right. Like, this is bulletproof, solid, like... They are using clues from all her music videos and her social media posts, and like, because Taylor loves to leave clues. That's one thing you gotta know about Taylor Swift.
You know so much about Taylor Swift. I'm now it's my turn to be like, wow, you know a lot about this person that you don't.
I mean, I feel like Taylor Swift is in a way like like a fragment of internet culture in which like the Swifties stan culture are very into like analyzing deeply every little bit of everything Taylor Swift does and coming up with theories that she's gonna do a thing. Like, is
this a whole thing? I didn't know this was a whole thing.
I mean, so my music conspiracy theory that I can get roasted for is that I believe that In Rainbows and OK Computer are indeed meant to be listened to each other like as one album that is like meshed together song after song.
I love it. I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's some Radiohead bullshit, but I buy it. I'm here to talk about the Radiohead bullshit. There's also a theory that Tom York predicted 9/11. I think that is not true, but points for creativity. I feel like there's theories about like every celebrity predicting 9/11, and you know what, guys? It was a bad moment in history, and maybe no one predicted it.
Then hey, to bring it back to MCR for a second.
Oh.
No, MCR is like the opposite of predicted, post-dicted by 9/11, because 9/11 is the reason that the band happened.
Oh yeah, that was, I do know,
which I think is funny.
Mythos of Gerard Way was like survived 9/11 and was like, fuck, I gotta do music.
Which that's really funny to me because he was doing comics before, so like the slide from comics to music is not that far. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, shit, I can't do my first creative career, I gotta do this other one.
It's not like he was like, I'm an investment banker, Gerard Way.
Yeah, and now in my alternate universe fanfiction.
Is that the episode name? Investment banker Gerard Way.
That's good. That's funny.
But yeah, so the Taylor Swift album did not drop on May 13th, but there was a new Kendrick Lamar album, which I've not listened to yet, but people are excited about it. And however, do you know what did indeed drop on Friday the 13th?
No, tell me more.
Owl City Smash Mouth All-Star Remix.
Incredible.
I don't know what came over me, but I did write about this for TechCrunch because
Owl City All-Star, understandable.
I just thought that the people needed to know. And I literally like wrote in our like conversation thing, like, I'm gonna give myself no more than 15 minutes to spend on it. But TBH, I spent like half an hour on it. But the article was basically just arguing why Owl City remix of Smash Mouth All-Star is tech news. And then Stereo Gun reposted it and people were roasting me in the comments. And I responded to them like, you guys just hate fun.
I feel like the Owl City guy is one of the guys who is less likely to sue us if we play his music on the podcast.
Yeah, but I do want to go back and just remember a humble moment in internet culture from 2017 in which there was that post that went viral that was talking about the lyric, I get 1,000 hugs from 10,000 lightning bugs, and whether that means that he received 1,000 hugs each from 10,000 individual lightning bugs, or if only 1/10 of the bugs hugged him.
The other 9,000 are like, yeah, fuck you. We don't like you anymore.
Yeah, 9,000 of them were just like, fuck off. And then Owl City did write a response being like, yes, I did indeed receive 1,000 embraces each from 10,000 insects.
Honestly, I like the Owl City guy. I think the Owl City guy is a good dude.
I mean, I think, like, we've talked about this on the podcast before, not to bring up John Green for, like, the second time in the podcast, but how...
I feel like we should start having, like, a John Green meter of, like, how many times you bring up the Green Brothers. I'm sure that there's other shit that... There's also probably needs to be, like, a Homestuck meter for me.
Yeah. But, I mean, we've talked about on the podcast how John Green leans into when Tumblr was bullying him and puts some words in his mouth and some other things in his mouth, if you know what I'm saying. Like, how if he, like, leans into the meme, then maybe people would have been like, haha, nice. Even though it was fucked up what people did to him, but he should have leaned into it.
I think it was kind of funny.
I think...
I'm a John Green bullying apologist. I'm not sorry.
I think bullying is bad, but also it was, like, low-key kind of funny.
I just think that, like, that feature should never have been enabled on Tumblr, but it was extremely funny that it existed for so long. That's my last take on it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. I mean, I think that if the Owl City guy was like, you guys are disgracing my lyrics, I'm not gonna reveal whether I got 10,000 hugs from lightning bugs or not, then people would have been like, hey, fuck this guy. But he was just like, great question. Let me explain to you the experience I had with these lightning bugs.
Yeah, because people love to get parasocial on the internet with celebrities.
Yeah, speaking of which, I've been trying to get John and Hank Green to tell me how they feel about the Owl City Smash Mouth remix, and I keep tweeting at them, like, how do you feel about the Owl City Smash Mouth remix? And they're like, no. And then also there was a very dramatic press release about this, and in the press release, it's like the guy from Smash Mouth is like, I have long admired Adam Young's artistry. And then Adam Young, the Owl City guy, is like, All Star is one of my favorite songs. And I'm like, okay, but is All Star anyone's favorite song for reasons that aren't because it's a meme?
I believe that there's like one guy out there who just really enjoys All Star. Also, like whenever I listen to All Star, I do end up enjoying it, like as a song, because I think it's a good song.
Yeah, you know what else is a good song?
What else is a good song?
I'd like to make myself believe that planet Earth turns slowly. It's hard to... Okay, I'm done.
I just wanted to see how long you could keep going.
I kind of got that. Anyway.
Podcaster on podcaster bullying in this episode. Are there any takeaways here? Read Dracula. Don't get into crypto. Listen to the All-Star Owl City remix.
Do you think that crypto is inherently anti-emo?
Yes. In the sense that I think I can make a good alignment chart here, but you would have to give me a couple more minutes than we have, and I will post it on Patreon on where I think crypto and emo fit on a whole situation. Okay,
because some people do argue that crypto is like for people that have felt excluded by the traditional monetary system, but also...
No, okay, so here's what I would say. I would put like capitalist and anti-capitalist, and then part of the system and then not part of the system. And then I think I would put emo in anti-cap, not part of the system, and then crypto in capitalist, part of the system. No, capitalist, not part of the system, but as it gains legitimacy, it has been rising to become part of the system. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. I think that's a great note to end on in the emo spectacular.
And if you like this episode, tell a friend. Word of mouth is how we grow. Thank you to all of our patrons, and shout out specifically to Zoe, Bray, Andre, Thea, Brian, and Gabriel. If you want your name in the above or in our Twitter header, slide right into our Patreon at patreon.com/wowiftrue. Shout out to Allison Mills, beloved audio editor, and to graphic designer and Canva warlock Eric Silver, who made our logo, and Sam Rizer, who made our podcast music. You can find us on Twitter as @wowifTruePod and Instagram and Facebook as @wowiftrue. Had your 15 seconds of internet fame, slide right into our Twitter DMs and tell us about it. Or you could tell us about like weird conversations that you overheard when you were getting dinner with people. That's also cool. Like, I would actually like to hear that. And until next time, let's get weird on the internet.